Have you ever felt like your life has taken a turn for the worse? Like you've been betrayed by the very people you should be able to trust? Today, we're diving into a story that's all about that, but also about hope, resilience, and an incredible comeback. This is the story of Joseph. Joseph was a young man, one of 12 brothers, but he was special. He was his father Jacob's favorite, and to show it, Jacob gave him a stunning gift, a coat of many colors. This wasn't just a piece of clothing. It was a symbol of favor, a promise of a great future. But while his father saw a promise, his brothers saw a threat. Their hearts filled with jealousy and a bitter anger. They couldn't stand to see him favored, to hear about his dreams of leadership. That envy grew so dark that it led them to do the unthinkable. One day, far from their father's watchful eyes, they saw their chance. They ambushed Joseph, stripped him of his beautiful coat, and threw him into a pit. Then they sold him to a passing caravan of traders heading to Egypt. To cover their tracks, they dipped his coat in animal blood and presented it to their father, Jacob, letting him believe his beloved son had been killed. Jacob was heartbroken, his grief immeasurable, all while Joseph was being carried away, a slave, to a foreign land. Arriving in Egypt, Joseph's life was turned upside down. He was no longer a favored son, but property. He was sold to Potiphar, a high-ranking official. Despite this crushing reality, Joseph didn't despair. He held on to his faith, and it said that God was with him. He worked hard, with integrity, and soon earned the trust and respect of his master. Potiphar put him in charge of his entire household. It seemed like things were finally looking up, but another trial was just around the corner. Potiphar's wife made advances toward him, and when he refused, she falsely accused him. Without a fair trial, Joseph was thrown into prison. From a pit to a household, and now to a dungeon. It felt like a spiral downwards. Yet, even in the darkness of the prison, Joseph's spirit wasn't broken. He continued to be a man of character, and soon the prison warden put him in charge of the other prisoners. It was here that his unique gift came to light. He interpreted the dreams of 2 of Pharaoh's former servants who were imprisoned with him. His interpretations came true, exactly as he said they would. He asked the servant who was restored to his position to remember him, but he was forgotten. 2 more years passed in that prison. Then, the most powerful man in the world, Pharaoh himself, had a series of disturbing dreams. He saw 7 healthy cows eaten by 7 sickly ones, and 7 healthy ears of grain swallowed by 7 thin ones. He was deeply troubled, but none of his magicians or wise men could tell him what it meant. That's when the servant finally remembered the young Hebrew in prison who could interpret dreams. Joseph was brought out, cleaned up, and stood before Pharaoh. With a wisdom that came from God, Joseph explained the dreams. They were a prophecy. Egypt would experience 7 years of incredible abundance, followed by 7 years of devastating famine. He didn't just interpret the dream. He offered a solution. He advised Pharaoh to appoint a wise man to collect and store grain during the plentiful years to prepare for the lean years. Pharaoh was so impressed by Joseph's wisdom and foresight that he said, "Can we find anyone like this man, one in whom is the Spirit of God?" He didn't just take Joseph's advice. He appointed Joseph himself to be that man. In a single day, Joseph went from prisoner to the 2nd most powerful man in Egypt. Just as Joseph had foretold, the 7 years of plenty came, and under his administration, Egypt stored up enormous amounts of grain. Then the famine hit, not just in Egypt, but across the entire region. People came from all over to buy grain from Joseph, because Egypt was the only nation that had prepared. And who should appear before him one day, desperate for food? His very own brothers. They bowed down to him, not recognizing the powerful Egyptian governor as the little brother they had sold into slavery years ago. But Joseph recognized them. This was his moment. He could have taken revenge. He could have turned them away. Instead, he chose a different path. He tested them to see if their hearts had changed. And when he saw their genuine remorse and love for their youngest brother Benjamin, he could no longer hold back. He revealed himself, weeping, "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" His brothers were terrified, but Joseph reassured them. "Do not be distressed," he said. "It was not you who sent me here, but God. He sent me ahead of you to save lives." What his brothers meant for evil, God had used for good. Joseph forgave them completely, brought his entire family, including his aging father Jacob, to live in Egypt, and provided for them through the rest of the famine. Joseph's story shows us that even in betrayal, hardship, and moments that feel hopeless, there can be a greater purpose at work. It's a powerful testament to faith, the strength of forgiveness, and the incredible way that even the darkest nights can lead to the brightest dawns. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that inspires. See you next time.